Denizens of Zwift, hello and welcome to another tour of Watopia Live. Joining me again is my favourite Canadian on the planet, the Archpriestess of maple syrup, the Lord Commander of the Mounties. It's Rhea Hovell.
Hey, OJ. I love that each week I've upgraded. I'm so pleased.
You're number one now.
Yeah.
Why try harder? There's something different about you.
Do I look a bit studious?
You do. I'll work it out by the end of this show. Now, ask me the question being, what is the Tour of Watopia?
What is the Tour of Watopia, OJ?
Well, I'm glad you asked me because it is a 5-stage tour across Zwift's original, most popular world. You love it.
It's my favourite.
I love it. You love it. And there are 5 awesome stages to ride, run, or race. Or if you're Rhea, all 3, possibly multiple times.
XP hogs.
Oh, yes, because if you're taking on at home, it is double the XP points. So loads of chances to score big and get to that next level on Zwift. What level are you now?
I leveled up to 27 yesterday.
I think I leveled up, but I checked it thinking I was close to you, and I was like level 14. So disappointed. Over the past few weeks, there's been some pretty special guests jumping into some of the rides. We have Grant Thomas a couple of weeks ago. No, last week, earlier this week, was it?
Yeah. Well, gosh, it was. Where's
Lost
the time
track
gone?
of time and space. Ella Harris of Canyon SRAM took on stage 2 earlier today. There she is. You can see her, the flag above her name.
Yeah.
On the Canyon SRAM bike, wearing the Watopia jersey, but without the Tron wheels.
The Tron bike. You
got that?
I do have the Tron bike. I did a lot of the hill, a lot of hill climbing to get there.
Do you know what? That's the problem right there for me. It's the lot of the hill.
Yeah.
Did you race stage 2? I know you ran it. I know you rode it. Did you race it?
No, I didn't. Like you said, I am an XP hog at the moment, and the race is too short. So I am a bit.
It is not. If you've raced stage 2, you'll know it's not too short because I did it.
Oh no, like you're bleeding from your eyeballs.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with you, but I want to get the extra kilometers in.
Yeah, if I look glassy-eyed again, I did here at Zwift Towers. They've got like a little pain cave here, which I jumped on.
Yeah, you smashed it, didn't you?
Well, sort of.
Yeah.
I came in the top 20 of a very busy race. Those rollers are tough.
Yeah.
And secondly, my seat, I didn't tighten the seat up.
Oh no.
Because I had to borrow a bike because I didn't bring mine down here. Don't worry, I anti-backed it, and the seat post had gone down. So by the end of it, I was like pedaling with my knees banging off the handlebar.
You're quite tall as well, so I can only imagine that would have been a bit uncomfortable.
Why, thank you, yes. Anyway, the 3rd stage of the Tour Watopia will be ready to ride in a matter of hours. Get stage 2 in now if you haven't done it. Today, we're going to bring you a whole lot of fun as the elite women are here to show you how it's done on the whole lot of lava route. Remember, not only are the riders going for the win on each stage, but there's an individual GC as well. Today is the 2nd time the women have been out this tour, and we'll be seeing who?
Mary Wilkinson.
Wearing what?
The yellow jersey.
Which is very exciting. She took it on stage 1. And that is nice kit and bike coordination. Do you know what I like? She's not gone for the yellow handlebar tape, which I always think is a bit much.
It's always a bit much, but her decals on her wheels are also matchy-matchy, which I kind of love.
Classy.
Yeah.
Now, during the last race, the men took on the Sand of Sequoias, and the ever-experienced Jonathan Levi of Team Kiss Racing took the win. Holden Kumu was also making a strong start to his Tour of Watopia campaign. Here we can see some highlights of the last race, and it was a great race.
It was a great race.
We thought there was breakaways, we thought there was early sprints. In the end, Jonathan Levi proved his class with it was just the timing.
Yeah, he really did, but actually a lot of the riders proved their class because there was so many opportunities to see breakaways, and we saw a real first-class group of riders right there until the end. A couple bad timings in terms of breakaways right at the very end with but yeah, seeing Levi absolutely take it away was brilliant.
It was a big old gap as well. I mean, we've seen sprints which are close, fractions of a second, but there we saw him gap the bunch, and he held on, and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. He gapped it, but then if you saw how many people finished behind him, also some class acts out there.
Now, I love this, as we've got the women battling out for a win, the points in the GC on the whole lot of lava route. I love the fact that we have got so many different rider feeds. They're in the pens, they're warming up, we can see them right now, and I love that we're getting more and more of these each and every week.
Look at her fan. She's
ready.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to be doing it, make sure you've got a fan on you. Angela Pitzer there, ready to go. controversially not wearing a jersey.
No, sometimes I've got to be honest. I often in a hardcore race don't wear a jersey either because it's so hot.
Yeah. Here's Marlene Bjarhead as well on the bike. Lovely oak paneling on the roof there.
Yeah.
That's my kind of pain cave.
That pain cave is looking ready to race in.
Yeah, part pain cave, part sauna. It looks like there it will be by the end of it. Here we have another one of our riders. Here's Cecilia Hansen, who we know has been a real factor in a lot of these races.
She has indeed, and she is currently 3rd in the standings at the moment, so watch out for her today.
I mean, I don't want to keep commenting on what people have got around them, but I like that wallpaper.
I love how you're home decorating as we go to the ride.
We have to look at the places that people are in. I mean, once
Library.
again, library, Fran Van Bust there, with some fabulous lighting. I mean, that is good lighting in the home. We can see the fan going on as well. And these are the riders who will have been, I mean, we are 9 minutes away from the race starting. All of these riders will be well into their warm-ups by now, won't they?
Absolutely. These girls will take a long time to warm up, and not just warming up steadily. They'll be warming up at that race interval paces, getting really strong power-ups to make sure that their muscles are ready to go. So they'll be ready to race by the time they start.
Katrina Holmson, just at the end as well, wearing a top hat. Very nice hat. Now, this series, we've been asking you to give us your picks on who's going for the win ahead of each stage, because you can hear what we say, you can hear what Matt says and Nathan, but we want to know who you think is going to take the GC at the end of it all. You know what you're talking about. You've watched these races. Even if you haven't, I'm sure you might have an idea, especially when we get to the race, when we update you on who is riding. Join the conversation. Let us know who you're backing. You can get in touch. Usual way, #Tour of Watopia. Or if you're watching it on YouTube or Facebook, there's chat there. We'll be across it. Questions for Rhea, myself, or anyone else, make sure you stick them in there. Now, when the women kicked off the Tour of Watopia just over a week ago, we saw a fast-paced, unpredictable race. We caught up with Angela Pitzer and Val Peterson of Team Draft to walk us through exactly what happened last time out.
Val just joined the team a few months ago, so it was really neat to finally have another woman in the state that I could get together with.
We have a women's chat through Team Draft, and I was introducing myself to the teammates and found out that Angela happened to be just down the road.
We try to get together at least once a week to catch up on Zwift.
Now that the weather's getting nicer, we're hoping to meet up outside since we live in Colorado and it's freezing here half the year. I think there's a lot of different variety on our team, which is neat.
We have some really great sprinters on our team. We have some riders that just like to race 2 to 3 times a day if they can. The guys get a little bit more competitive with each other, but everybody's really supportive of one another on the team. There's a couple of the guys that will jump into a race if they see that you're in there, and they'll kind of coach you through while you're out there on the course, and it's really great.
It's just really exciting, I think, when we're all doing a race together, and it's awesome to cheer each other on and have our coach in our ear helping us along the way. I would say race 1 of Tour of Watopia was straight up an FTP test right out of the gate. It was brutal. I don't know if my heart rate ever settled down till the end once I crossed the finish line, but it was fun. I mean, we knew going into it was going to be short and fast.
And we've got a little breakaway. Did not expect that to happen. This is very, very interesting. Dave Bates is there. Hansen is there. Whitelaw too. This is a good group that's now moving clear, Nathan.
I expected Heino to attack. For sure. I mean, Cecilia and Luis and Vicky, they're really some of the top racers. They really know their stuff and they really work well together as a team. You can't do anything but admire them.
They were in a great spot when Heino attacked. I know they were all together right in the front there. I love the Tours because it mixes things up, and the Pro-Am invitationals are amazing. I mean, we're racing against some of the top women around the world, so it's just an honor to be there. And
there will be 3 of us this time instead of 5 of us going in, so we're just going to do our best to work together and stay on each other's wheels for as long as we can.
Wilkinson's coming through. It looks like it's neck and neck with a straight. Wilkinson took it down.
I know after that first race, Mary Wilkinson, she was on fire. Scary Mary, as I guess some people call her, but she rocked it, so we'll definitely be keeping an eye on her.
We'll be watching out for Mary and the Heino girls for sure.
Yeah, definitely watch out for them.
Yeah.
Val, I love how she called that last race fun, which is not something you tend to say during the race when you're racing on Zwift.
No, I always call it type 2 fun, enjoyed retrospectively.
It's the type of fun you start having afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll cuff you for that. Now, we're looking forward to the next Tour of Watopia stage. For race 3, we're climbing a volcano. And you have to say, and this is what I love about Zwift, the fact is, yeah, you could come up with all the famous climbs on Earth, outdo us and the rest of it, but nowhere on Earth really can you climb a volcano, but you can on Zwift. Anna Walker has all the details.
This week's stage is stage 3, and it's time to go up, up and up. Take on some of the hardest climbs on Zwift, including the Volcano, the Epic KOM, and of course, the Alpe de Zwift. Make sure you pace yourself and rise to the challenge. The A group, this is the hardest climb on Zwift, the Alpe de Zwift. Find your climbing legs and focus on your pace, your time, your challenge. The shorter group ride option takes you around the volcano for a short but intense ride. Make sure you pack some water and turn on the fan because it's about to get hot with all that lava. The C group is women only. The women take on one lap of the mountain route, take on the epic QOM and reach the first of the high summits of Watopia. In the race, it's one lap of a whole lot of lava course. Between the fast volcano crit circuit and the tricky volcano climb, this course is designed for an action-packed race, and it's a course for the stronger punchers. You can also run and it's about to get fast. Prepare yourself to take on the new Mayfield track with a 5k or a 10k distance.
Looking at that makes me quiver inside. It's a fabulous course. The race is going to be great, but just all of the routes. And you were just saying, you said to me, what at the beginning of that, if you want the Tron bike?
You've got to do climbing.
Climbing.
Yeah, and so you get to do the Alp doing that one.
Yeah, 1,000 meters.
Yeah, so but you've got to do it like 50 times if you want the Tron.
Okay. Right, let's take a look at the race. Rhea, it's exciting today. How the race
is
looking
exciting. Well, we've got to remember this is an individual points race, so our ladies are fighting for the yellow jersey. Our current leader we will see today is Mary Wilkinson. She's got 45 points from the last race. But all of that could change today because the whole lot of lava route has points for the queen of the mountain and the finish line. So there's all to play for. It's a tricky course too. We could see some attacks right off at the beginning and lots of breakaways up the climb today.
The profile is very interesting because
Yeah.
it's climb to the top at the midpoint and then it's just a chase downhill to the bottom. So it's going to be interesting where the tactics lie. And as we say, this isn't a team-based competition as the Tour de Zwift was, but loads of teams being represented today. Let's take a look at some of the teams, and that is a full-on peloton.
Yeah, we've got to keep an eye out for Canyon ZCC, Turbo, and Hino because those ladies really dominated in terms of the overall standings.
And then we have the riders to watch. These are the riders who'll be animating the race. It's the usual names we tend to see. Mary Wilkinson, Ella Harris, who did the ride earlier today. We saw her earlier on.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's important to point out that at the moment, Mary Wilkinson, not in the yellow jersey on this panel here, but is going to be in the yellow jersey. Olivia Borrell, Team Turbo, is also second, and Cecilia Hansen is in third. So watch out for those guys.
Right, we're just over a minute and a half away from the race starting. Let's take a look at the power-ups. These are super important for the race, when and where you use them. I probably can guess the answer to this. What's most important today?
I think you're going to be lucky or you're going to want the lightweight, especially at the top of that climb, just to get you over the edge. But, you know, like you said, you love the invisibility because you've had it for the first time.
I did today, and I used it at the right time. I just couldn't get away. That was the problem. I used it. It just didn't work for me. Now, we are just about on time to start the race. So we're going to leave you in the very capable hands of two of our commentators. Matt Stevenson, a man who yesterday I watched him stream on Twitch. He did a 5-hour ride at 240 watts.
Yeah.
The man is a monster. That is Nathan. Go, Guerra.
Thanks a lot, OJ. Thanks a lot, Rhea. Amazing pre-show. Great to see some of the racers in real life as well from Team Draft. Now, we've got quite a punchy course with this climb out here today. They are going to be taking on that volcano. Got 41 seconds to the start of the race. Matt, I think it's going to be, you had said, a very tactical race. We were chatting a little bit beforehand, and because of how short it is, as well as the 2 points being pretty close to each other, a lot of tactics, plus watching this new yellow jersey.
Yeah, I mean, we've only got one sprint today, and it's not really a sprint, is it? It actually comes at the top of the volcano climb, so it's going to be I think going to be the real critical pivotal point in this race. And I think we might see some of the teams trying to maybe send a little breakaway up the road to maybe take a few points away from Mary. We are going to end up seeing potentially this treated a little bit like a stage race. And it will be interesting to me to see how Mary Wilkinson composes herself and how she copes with the pressure of being in the yellow jersey. And there she is midway through the pack, that lovely yellow maillot jaune with red Z on her back. First time we've had this in Zwift racing, but she'll love this course. She's in fine form. Scary Mary is in good form, but watch out for Ella Harris as well from Canyon SRAM.
Yeah, watching Ella Harris right now, 6.8 actually watts per kilogram on the right-hand side of the screen. You can always see the watts per kilogram that the riders that are in the top 10 are currently putting out. On the top of your screen, you'll also be able to see the kilometers to go, the kilometers traveled, and then the lap they are on, as well as the time that has evolved throughout the race. We've got a lead pack starting to form. It looks like a little bit of a break already. You know, the peloton's large here still, but there was a solid kick, and it's always going to be about hanging on at the start of these races. If you're unfamiliar with Zwift racing and how it works, it is everything you got from the gun a lot of times, more of a cyclocross or mountain bike type race start at least. You know, there's no hole shot, but there is kind of a hole shot as far as whether or not you make that lead group, Matt.
Oh, no, definitely. We've seen a lot of the riders, of course, getting used to riding on Zwift, especially the riders from the community who've been racing on Zwift for a few years now. But you need to have a very, very good warm-up, and you need to be prepared to go deep very, very early on before the race generally settles down a little bit. But because of the time that these races go on for, they're short, but they're very, very sweet. We reckon today they'll be clocking at around 24 or 25 minutes. Depends, of course, how aggressive the race is. But the first part of this course, it's essentially in three parts, this race. This is the way I look at it. The first third is 7Ks, 7.5Ks to the bottom of the climb. Then we have the volcano climb itself. The stats are as follows: elevation gain of 120 meters, 3.7 Ks long at a 3% average. But the last 200 meters of the climb are where I think it could split, because it kicks up to 6, even 10%. So it's very, very nasty. And the thing is, just on the top, there isn't even a proper descent. It's a plateau before a fast descent that you need to pedal on as well. And that's where I think the race will fracture before the run into the line in the center of the volcano.
Yeah, it was such a punchy climb, probably going to be about 7 to 8 minutes all out. And like you said, they have that real sharp gradient as they come over the top. You could get some separation there, and I think that's going to be the main place the riders are going to be looking to really make those breaks happen. Now, we do have Angela Pitts here from Team Draft here, 214 lots, calming things down. There was a little bit of a climb, very, very short, probably about 30 seconds to a minute, though, going through the tunnel over toward the right-hand turn into the volcano expansion. Now they're going to be heading on over toward the volcano now. We do see a lot of the pro riders actually 2020 here toward the front. We also see, it looks like Leah Thorvarson toward the front there. The first Zwift Academy winner of ever. Leah Thorvarson from Team Turbo has been extremely aggressive and working very hard for that team. We'll be watching out for her. It seems that she's been training specifically for these rides, but the kind of form that I've seen her in the community races as well as in the Tour Watopia so far, I've been watching out for Thorvarson maybe to throw down some fireworks for Team Turbo out there today. Angela Pitzers we're seeing there with the little marker over her head, sitting pretty there. Looks about 20th wheel or so as Team Turbo takes over toward the front. And it looks, the red kit there, as you can see, Team Draft. Team Turbo is going to be in the black and dark purple toward the front end of the race here. We also see Corker there from Velocity VCTY toward the front now, as it looks like Pole taking over for KRT. Quick little shout out as well from KISS Racing Team. Rachel Elliott out there, be watching out for her. Solid time trialist. I think she's going to be the workhorse for KRT. We'll see if KRT can get something done. In the men's side of things, Jonathan Levi obviously taking it down, and that was kind of unexpected. Maybe KRT dark horse on the day to try and take down a win and upset the overall standings.
Yes, indeed. No, they've settled into a nice rhythm now. If any of you look at this for the very, very first time and you wondered what those little kind of Pac-Man logos were, the little ghost logos and that little strange little burrito logo, they are called power-ups. Now, the riders are using those at the moment. They should get another, when they pass through basically an arch on the course, a King of the Mountains, Queen of the Mountains arch, or a sprint point, they will randomly be given a power-up, which they can use tactically throughout the race. A lot of riders using at this point in the race is power-ups that don't necessarily give them any benefits. The burrito is probably one of my favorites just because of the way it looks. I love the design of that one. That makes you undraftable for 10 seconds. But I think my new favorite, and I know it's OJ's favorite, is the Cloak of Invisibility. And that's what the Ghost is. And we should see a few more of those towards the back end of this course. As we re-enter the volcano right at the back end, you've got that little kick up to the line. So I think, Nathan, it'll be interesting to see if riders want either the featherweight power-up, which makes them 9 kilograms lighter for 15 seconds, or the aero power-up for the sprint.
Yeah, and I think either one of those, when you roll the dice on those, I think either one of those, a lot of the riders are going to be really looking for it. And some people might be wondering, are like, that was a great shout out, actually, Matt. The reality of these riders are using power ups, most likely at this point that they are not that interested in keeping. So we do see a lot of those burritos being used. The undraftability, really, the only point that you really want that isn't a breakaway situation. This being such a long race, if this was a little bit longer race, perhaps the burrito would be a little bit more of a factor. So they're using that up because they're about to come through the lap slash finish banner. Once they do go through that lap finish banner, they'll be able to grab another power up. Most of them most likely going to be looking for that feather power up, as it does greatly decrease your weight, and that's what's going to matter as they get onto those gradients. We do see a little bit of tack toward the front here, though. I believe it's BRT. It looks like Jessica Hamilton, actually 6 watts per kilogram, a little bit of a kick, maybe just setting herself up so that she can rest a little bit more once it flattens out. But this looks a little bit serious, actually. Rachel Elliott, KRT, is responding very quickly. Vicky Whitelaw from Hino, Neelan's coming on through, it looks like, as well as Beth York from Velocity now. So it looks like this is going to be shut right on down, and Hamilton's now calming down. It looks like she was just trying to kind of get ahead of it. A lot of times I kind of like to climb that way personally as well, as we look at Beth York's efforts there from Velocity Cycling. But, there is that reality when you climb, sometimes getting ahead of the efforts and not having to hang on can sometimes give that fade climb the ability to kind of rest a little bit after you put out that little bit of a kick.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite a good tactic as we look at Vicky Neelan just on the front now, to give yourself what we call, and it's the equivalent on the open road, of course, as well, is to give yourself that little bit of sliding space and move up, maybe a little, invest a little bit of power, a little bit of energy to put yourself in a good position. So when you do get to the climb, when everybody else accelerates, you can gently slide back through the group, still get the benefit of the slipstream, but don't get yourself attached. And I think some of the weaker climbers on this course are going to want to get themselves in a good position on the climb, which we'll be on just in about 2.5 kilometers time. We've done about 5Ks, just over 5 kilometers, and we hit the bottom of the climb. There's a little ramp, it drops down, then it kicks up at about 7.6Ks, and then they start gradually climbing to the top of the volcano.
Yeah, and with that climb going to be starting pretty soon, I believe some of the riders are going to start be looking for positioning here, as we do see Ella Harris making way to the front there for Camden Strand Racing. Now it's also going to be Lizzie Duncombe there toward the front for Vision, it looks like. Vicky Nealon with 3.8 watts per kilogram. Here's the face of Jennifer Reel from Team Fearless. Always be watching out for her, especially on the climbs. I think Jennifer may be one that's going to make any kind of breaks that may start to happen as they head into the climb. One more time around the volcano, they'll go into the uphill grind instead of a right hand turn along the ocean. They'll be taking that left hand turn into the climb here. Now it looks like Polly Mason from Team Fearless taking over toward the front.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this route from above, if you go onto Zwift.com and find this volcano climb, this volcano route, it looks like somebody's got a piece of spaghetti and just dropped it onto a map. It just constantly changes left and right, in and out. It really is quite a special circuit, one of my favorite ones, and one of the most challenging as well. It's a real racer's circuit. It rewards aggressive riding, but unsurprisingly, Nathan, we haven't seen anybody really attack. We saw that little attack at about 4Ks. I think that was more about getting a good position as we get the first glimpse of the stats of our leader, Mary Wilkinson, looking very comfy, holding around 235 watts. Nice cadence there of 96. She's in fine form, just drifting to the back of this group. And I must admit, I do like that yellow jersey, Nathan.
Yeah, first time ever seeing the yellow jersey for general classification in game. And as we do call her Scary Marion, I think you know exactly why. You were a part of the Zwift Academy finals and you saw her win that climbing competition, actually. This may be a course that suits her. You were talking about the tactics to try and take Mary down in the points. I think they're going to struggle a little bit with how strong of a climber she is.
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, especially when you compare this race to last week's race that Mary actually won. She actually won on a course that you wouldn't necessarily have expected to win. She won a bunch sprint. So it just shows she's in great condition. And I think ahead of this race, which is on territory that I think she's going to be more suited to, she must be absolutely full of confidence. And yeah, I was out there in Spain when she was up in the fun of the Zwift Academy. She won the hill climb. I started a minute in front of her and I had to pull over because she was going a lot quicker than me, Nathan.
Absolutely love it, love it. Well, we'll see how quick she can go up this climb now, as we do have KRT kind of taking over to the front. That's going to be in the dark blue, going to be a little bit similar in color to the 2020 riders, as I am seeing Leah Thorvaldsen also making her way to the front. But now I do see the yellow kit there in the top 5, really starting to set herself up. We're going to have a left-hand turn into the climb now. They're going over a little broken arch here, and now the climb is on here. Now the official marker for the Queen of the Mountain for the timing is the little red marker that's going to be on the right-hand side of the course here in just a moment. You can see on the right-hand side, there it is, right on the right. The Queen of the Mountain has officially started, and Hildonen, Cannon's ECC, making her way to the front immediately, 8 watts per kilogram, taking that speed. Simone Bollard now from 2020 trying to follow things up, but the attacks are already on here, resting up. Look at knowing the game there. Did you see that little bit of a reprieve on the downhill and then kicking again the moment that it went into the 5% gradient?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's not just about the ability to produce power. As we look at Siri Holden here, she's a mother of 2, lives in Norway. She's a cross-country skier as well, and she was a top 10. Well, she's a finalist in the Zwift Academy, or got through to the final 10 riders. She is an exceptional athlete and has gone early, but Siri Holden now has just been caught. That was a bit of a tester, really, and I think that bit of a move has really started to string things out. This climb isn't super steep, but it is a severe test. 3.7k is a reminder, 3% average, but the nastiest bit is right at the top. And I think what's difficult about this climb, Nathan, is the fact there's no descent. You have that plateau, and it's going to be very, very difficult, I think, to chase and get back in contact. If riders think about how they ride the top of this climb, hold a little bit back and then surge over the top, this race could quite literally erupt, if you'll excuse the pun.
Yeah, and up and out of the saddle here, we do see Emma Belforth now from Team Sweden here. SZ, 6.8 watts per kilogram. You can see how she's producing that power, just grinding away, standing on the pedals, pounding down each and every time that she can. 400 watts at that 8.2 now for a moment. So she is really giving it. This is a full-on early attack to split things apart, and it looks like that's exactly what is happening. As you can look behind just a little ways behind her, there's about 15 riders that are just barely being able to hang on. Actually, the yellow jersey looks to maybe be in a little bit of a trouble at this point, just hanging on in the back of the pack here. One of her teammates throwing an arrow power up, actually. That's going to be Marlene Jarheed behind there as well, trying to hold on to the wheel. It does go up and down a little bit, so it's going to give a little bit of reprieve as far as the uphill grind riders may be able to grab on. There is one point actually throughout this climb at which they do go back through the volcano. It does flatten out, and there will be a little bit of an opportunity to draft through that section. A couple other sections where it goes up and down, but it's mainly that middle of the climb where they will be able to kind of regroup, a little bit of reprieve. But now we do see Belfort backing off, as it looks like the attack, though, from her did split things up. Tanya Era trying to come back. It looks like 2 seconds back. Another 1 second back from there is going to be Beth York. As we're looking at Angela Pizzi here, it looks like on the chase, I believe, as she has been dropped off from the main pack as they head into the volcano through the flattest section of this climb.
Yeah, well, there's some big numbers here being put out on this climb. Unsurprisingly, we've seen that the race start to fracture, but the dominant team from last week have got plenty of riders up in the front in the red for the Hino racing team. They're the only team last week, to remind you of the results. They got 3 riders inside the top 10. They got 3rd with Cecilia Hansen. They got 5th with Vicky Whitelaw, and 7th, Louise Huback. Louise Huback, one of the favourites for the overall here, but got a lot of making up to do as we look at the stats of Mary Wilkinson, just sat in that group at the moment, still putting out over 300 watts. That's just a shade under 6 watts a kilo. They're putting in a lot of effort here, and still a fair distance to get to the top of the climb as Belforth goes again.
Yeah, and Belforth, as they were heading through that flatter section, she came from the middle of the pack with an arrow power up. Actually, I believe her tactic there was knowing she did not have a feather power up, knowing that the speed she could gain specifically from the power up that she had, from the tactical move she could make, was with that arrow power up. And she goes again, the aggressive rider who split things initially. She's most aggressive rider for sure on the day, it looks like here, as she attacks. Mary Wilkinson bridges across here, knowing that this is a serious move. Bates there from 3R now coming across. Vicky Whitelaw from Hino. The Hino ladies, always very tactical, very strong, maybe just waiting in the background for the time to go, trusting that this is going to come back. But Wilkinson looks like she's on the go now. The yellow jersey here off the front, 7 watts per kilogram, 6 watts per kilogram here. They got a 3-second gap. There's a group of 3 that have made separation now.
This is a look at an absolutely wonderful shot from our virtual heli on the side of this here, heading up to the top of the volcano. We've got about roughly 800 meters to the top. Remember, there are points on offer at the top. And just a reminder, if you're tuning in for the very first time, this is not a team classification. There's an overall classification at the end of the series for the rider that gains the most points. There are 35 points on offer. That goes down to the top 20. And there are intermediate points available as well, which count towards the general classification. And the race leader at the moment is Mary Wilkinson. The Queen of the Mountains is coming up with 12 points on offer for first across the line.
And it's going to go 12, 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is what it's going to be for the top 10 places across the line. And Mary Wilkinson is showing why she is in this yellow jersey right now. 5.8 watts per kilogram, 7 seconds back. I think that this climb is done as far as between these three and the rest of the group. It's one more time around the mountain, and then it's going to be a solid kick up into 8% gradient as they head up toward the arch. There may be a feather power up from one of the ladies behind here to try and close this gap, but it would have to be a monstrous effort. They're going to go downhill just a little bit of flatten out, maybe not a complete downhill, but it's going to flatten out just a little bit, and then a left-hand turn into an just absolute kicker in just a moment here. But we're going to have to see a huge effort from the pack to close things down. I don't think it's going to happen. It's between these three. Belfort, after those early attacks, looks to be fading as Wilkinson continues to turn the screws and put dominance on this race.
Well, Mary Wilkinson, she's got an exceptional FTP, and this is the sort of climb that suits her down to the ground. She's riding away with this. Say she's riding away 300 meters. There is the point. It says 300 meters to go. She looks like she's opening up a little bit of a gap on Bates. Belforth, she's just on the wheel. Bates has managed to hold onto the wheel. Belforth, even though she's putting out 6.1 watts a kilo, is actually dropping back. Wilkinson in absolutely tremendous form, really stamping her authority on this. But it looks like Bates is coming round her. Is it going to be Bates that takes the points? It looks as if that is going to be the case.
And it looks like Bates here has an arrow power, but Mary Wilkinson's trying to counter their 9 watts per kilogram. It might be just raw power, and it is. Mary Wilkinson, 10 watts per kilogram, kicks right past her for 12 points across the line, distancing herself in the overall competition again. But now it's going to be about the points across the line behind as well. Cecilia Hansen-Falk battling it out with Hubach, but it looks like Hubach coming on through for Heino, and it just in front of her, just behind her, it looks like Nelson and Hansen were battling it out as well. Wilkinson over 12, Bates there, Belforth coming on through, Hubach with a late attack, trying to bridge across, but ends up with 4th. Hansen also from Heino there, 5th place. Kristen Falk, Nelson, and it looks like Leah Thorvaldson, Daniela, and then Barrel across the line for the top 10. And that's the points for the GC competition over the Queen of the Mountain. But now we've got a race in our hands for the finish line where there's 35 points on the line to get across in first place. Bates here, though, I'm not sure where she lines up in the overalls at this point. Not sure, how high up in the point standings. But if she's able to stick this with Mary Wilkinson and hold this kind of a gap, that's going to be either 30 or 35 points to really up the standings there for 3R and her individual standings in the GC.
Well, she's actually, I'm just checking through the rankings, Nathan. Bates from R3R in that lovely stripy kit. She's actually lying in 9th position at the moment, so she's in a strong position and scoring 2nd on that climb, and she's got in this little breakaway here with Mary. She's clearly on good form now. If these two combine to work together, they have a very, very good chance of staying away. And at the top of your screen, if you look at that little checkered flag, only 4.4 Ks to go. They're traveling at very high speed on this descent as well. But Nathan, it is one of those descents you can't really start freewheeling on at all. You still need to put the power down. It's about 3 or 4% before we hit, I don't know, like a K and a half to go before you head back into the mountain and that little kick up to the line. But this is a great breakaway. Unsurprisingly, Bates happy to work at the moment with Wilkinson.
And now Belforth behind here as well. It looks about 8 seconds to close down here. Going to be very difficult to do, though, with 2 riders up ahead, able to draft off each other, use each other's speed to kind of come through and create some sort of an elastic that keeps on bringing the rider behind through with lots and lots of speed. Belforth getting into a super tuck behind them, so we'll have to see if she can close things down. It's 12 seconds from Belforth to Thorvaldson, and up to this lead group, though, 10 seconds between Belforth and Wilkinson and Bates. So there's 3 groups on the road. The front group here with Wilkinson and Bates trying to hold on. It looks like they're working very well together at this point. Here's I believe the 3rd chase group out on course with Kristen Falk from Canyon ZCC trying to make a change. There is the chase here. There's a solo rider between this group and the lead group. Belforth out there, the most aggressive rider for sure on that climb, but Belforth may be suffering a little bit because of those early attacks on the way up to the top of the climb.
Yeah, good to see Louise Hu back as well, chipping away at those points. That's going to move her up the rankings a little bit. But this group working very, very well together. Don't expect the ride from Canyon ZCC to do any pulling into that group. And we know that is Kristen Falk. She currently lies in 10th position on the general classification. But with only one more race to go, the way that Mary Wilkinson is riding, it's going to put her in such a strong position. And she's hardly even pulled off the front here. It looks as if Bates is having a bit of a free ride at the moment, but behind and packing very, very well, just as they did last week, are Vicky Whitelaw, Cecilia Hansen, Aloise Huback, all from Hino Racing. They are the team with the most to gain. They are the team that need to drive this back. They still have a chance to do that, but with 3Ks to go, they've got to do it now.
Yeah, and it is a 14-second gap. They are going to catch Belfort. Belfort actually putting out more power, I believe, than the riders on the front end of the group. But there's just the reality that a group working together is just going to close on the gap. And it looks like Emma Belfort is going to be caught by the chase group. So now it's 2 groups out on course, 2 up front, and now this chase group that are looking to try and close things down and grab as many points as they can. The Hino ladies, as well as Team Turbo, Showair is in there as well. There's plenty of teams in here that got lots of firepower that are going to look to try and close things down. They want those 35 points, but Wilkinson, they're already on the main downhill almost about to leave the downhill section of the mountain with 17 seconds, and the gap is actually going out. Bates and Wilkinson are working so well together. Actually, Wilkinson, like you were saying, is really putting in the brunt of the work here, just showing that she is owning this yellow jersey.
Yeah, I mean, we don't like to sort of compare riders to each other, but she is like a cannibal at the moment. She's not just Scary Mary, she is the new virtual cannibal. But for the first time, Bates does actually give her a little bit of a turn there. Well, she certainly deserves to, but the kind of power that Mary was putting in, and the fact she's in the yellow jersey, when you think about it from a tactical perspective, Bates sits in 9th position overall. She could work with her, but she could also go for the win and profit from Mary staying on the front. Because if Mary gets second here, that is going to put her in not quite an unassailable lead for the finale, of course, but in an exceptionally strong position. And I think we can see Ella Harris from Canyon SRAM in this second group as well. So a real battle on for third place. But I think with only 1,700 meters to go, it is going to be very, very difficult to close this gap. They can just see them just around this corner.
They're just in sight, Matt. It's right there. This is going to be a heartbreaker if they get caught. Male Wilkinson pushing 5-6 watts per kilogram. The group is coming on really extremely fast at this point. Wilkinson now bumping to 6.8 watts per kilogram. I believe we're going to start seeing some teamwork happening. Rachel Elliott, though, backing off at 3.2 here. We're going to have to see a continuance from this front group, though. Emma Belfort currently 173, recovering, it looks like, as you see the lower left-hand corner there, trying to bring back a little bit of energy, I believe, before the actual sprint. You can see the current point standings right now between the riders in the upper left-hand corner from those that are in the group tier, I believe. And now we've got 1K to go banner, and we do see an invisibility power-up actually being used by one of the riders behind here. Maybe just trying to see if they can get a little bit of advantage, but nothing happening with that. Now, 14 seconds. This is enough to hold on, but how much of a kick do they have after such a huge effort put out? It's this little 2-tier climb into the volcano. She's got to really push orange numbers if she can get them out here, Mary, in order to hold on to here, because I believe that some of the riders in this chase group are going to have plenty of energy after sitting in for so long.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it doesn't look much at all at the moment. It's only a gradual little rise. Then Mary Wilkinson's putting out 440 watts. She's going really long. She's opened up a gap here, 540 meters to go. She's not left it to the last 200 meters to open up the sprint. She's gone classic long. Absolutely fantastic stuff. But Bates has got a power up as well, and she's closing the gap.
Bates with that drafting power up. We've got one more kick to the line. I think they've distanced themselves enough. Thorvaldson's coming through with 8 watts per kilogram behind the chase group, but no, Wilkinson now continues on. Bates is just trying to hold on. Scary Mary is showing why she's owning this kit, and she is going to take this, it looks like, to the line unless Bates can sit in and come over the top. Bates, 6.1 watts per kilogram. No, she grabs back on the wheel. Wilkinson goes. Wilkinson has an arrow power up, though. 9 watts per kilogram coming from Mary Wilkinson. Now, it looks like 512 watts. Not going to be able to get us. It's going to be one of those just attrition to the line effort, and Mary Wilkinson takes it down. The current series leader behind here, though, we still have a sprint. Hansen coming to the line. Looks like Cecilia Hansen, Hubach, followed up by Whitelaw, I believe, is going to be those across the line. Hino really taking down that sprint for the second group, but Mary Wilkinson showing why she's owning the GC in this race series.
Oh, that was an absolutely magnificent, aggressive performance by Mary Wilkinson. She took the race up. She was in the yellow jersey. And to win a race in the jersey in such style and go long is absolutely amazing. She's dominating this series, but another fantastic race. And look at the great riding as well by Hansen, Huback and Whitelaw. third, fourth, fifth on the day. Great team performance, but what a performance by Mary Wilkinson. She has stamped her authority on the Tour of Watopia so far. Great stuff.
Yeah, Mary Wilkinson with that climb of the top. Blue Bates there working with her, coming through for second place and hanging on to the line. It looks like Heino was working together very well to try and bring things back, but just kind of like in the first race, I believe their tactics maybe might have come back to bite them just a little bit at the finish line, maybe holding back a little bit too much and trying to get across the line first with tactics. Didn't end up working out as Mary Wilkinson there, as you can see, 35 points. Lou Bates there, 30. Cecilia Hansen, Hubach, then Whitelaw, all taking 25, 22, and 21. A straight Danielle Rivo there in sixth place there, right behind the Heino train. And then it's Olivia Barlow for Turbo with 19. Kristen Falk, followed by Leah Thorvaldson from Team Turbo, and Ella Harris there from Canyon SRAM Racing. I believe we're going to go up through the top 20 here as well for the rest of the points as they do come up. Again, though, Wilkinson there making it happen over the top of that climb as she took down got the gap that she had needed in order to really push the pace and open up enough in the gap in order to hold on to that time. That's really where it was all about, was when they came over the top there.
Yeah, and there's a confirmation now of the individual points gained on the day. We'll get confirmation. Well, it is. She got 35, and then of course 27 points, maximum points for Mary Wilkinson. Takes out the Queen OM, and then gets the win at the end. Absolutely magnificent. But as you said, do you know what? I don't actually think the Heino team did anything wrong tactically. They swept up behind, but they just did not have the legs to match Mary and Bates as they went over the top of that climb. But what another fantastic exhibition of racing on Zwift we had today. This stuff just gets better and better, Nathan, doesn't it?
Yeah, and because we can see here's the rounding out of the top 20 after. This is the individual GC points. So Courtney Nelson for Team 2020 there, just outside the top 10. Ella Harris there grabbing, and that's from the points just from today, sitting in 12th place. Solid effort. Rachel Elliott then for 13th. Jessica Edquist for Team SZ. Britt Mason from Team Draft out there, the sprinter, holding down for 15th overall right now. Francisca Ravazzolo from 3R, then Helen McKay from Turbo. Corinne Fox from BRT. Vicky Nealon for Heino coming through in 19th, and then Marta Cavalli there now as well for it looks like in 20th place. So that's the current standings there. Let's go ahead and head on back to the studio with OJ and Rhea for some post-race analysis.
Indeed, thank you very much to Nathan and to Matt as well. Fabulous race. Mary Wilkinson showing that the yellow jersey, which we all agree is a beautiful new addition to it. I love the yellow jersey.
Yes,
comes with a target on your back, but she didn't care.
It came with a target on their back in terms of, I think, a lot of the women testing today, starting those attacks at the bottom of the mountain. She just reacted.
They picked the wrong fight there because she was so dominant. Maximum points on the stage. I mean, if you could take maximum points, you take the QOM and then you take the win. And she proved any time that Bates tried her, it's like, watch this.
Yeah, it almost was like a goading, wasn't it? You saw Bates trying to go after her or taking an attack, and Mary just kind of casually would drop 9 watts per kilo to react to that. That's pretty impressive riding.
It was. It was just amazing to watch because it is a very brutal stage as we take the replay now. And she showed how you ride it. She was calm under pressure. Yeah. We saw some of her feeds. We can see the end here. When she dropped that, you could see that Bates was trying to hold on, 100 meters to go, but, once you see someone disappearing, that is all dominance. What did Matt call her? The virtual cannibal?
Virtual cannibal.
Hannibal Lecter.
Exactly, if we want to feminize it for her.
Yeah.
But she actually took that attack with 500 meters to go. I mean, we always talk about timing, and 500 meters we would normally say is way too early for attack, and she had confidence. She knew she had the legs, or else she wouldn't have tried so early on. She also knew she had the power up, so she went for it to see what Bates had and how she was going to react, and that is clever riding, but it's gutsy riding.
It is very gutsy riding, and it showed as well because you see that, we were talking beforehand, we were looking at the parkour, and we were saying that it's going to be difficult unless you have a decent amount of time to stay away. If a pack's trying to hunt you down, 2 of you are going to struggle to stay away. And they did.
Yeah, they pushed, they kept the power hard. You know, there was a pack of nearly half a dozen riders. You saw them absorb Belforth with about 1.5 kilometers to go, and you thought, okay, they're going to be carrying speed on the downhill. But those two powerhouses managed to keep them off, which is why they won in the end.
Let's take a look at the GC standings. Again, this is a GC competition, the Tour of Watopia. Mary Wilkinson, 92 points overall. She took 47 today, which was maximum, 35 for the win, 12 for the QOM. Add that to the 45 she got in round 1. I'm not going to say that's unassailable, but that is a strong position.
It is a seriously strong position, especially if she takes all the points in the next race, which right now, with her current form, she very well could do.
Yeah, she is, my math is pathetic, 24 points ahead. I mean, realistically, unless she blows up, that is going to take everyone using some form of tactics against her. But we saw today, she's wearing the yellow jersey. Yellow jersey is a bit of a target.
Yeah.
She rode like a champion. She rode like someone in a yellow jersey.
Yes, she did, but also you saw a couple teams in that chaser group that were riding like a team to sort of generate that hunt. So there are some teams to look out for that if they're not holding the yellow jersey, you're absolutely right. There's a target on her back and they can work as a team to try and attack that.
And if we're going to talk about teams trying to attack, DBR, as they were in the Tour of Zwift, now the Hino team.
Yeah.
Now, we have seen them before that they know how to race as a team.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to round 3, which we will see in a week's time, we know that they are going to have to come with something to take that yellow jersey.
Yeah, and they've got the strategy to do that. We saw that in the last tour. We also saw that at the very end of this race today. They were all there together at the very end. I suspect they'll go away, have a little think, and probably react to this.
A week on Tuesday. That's the final one. A week on Tuesday. I finally worked it out in my head as you were talking.
Well done.
It's going to be amazing. That will be a double race, by the way. It will be the women and the men both racing on the same day. Now, stage 3, you just saw that will be ready to ride, race or run very soon. As usual, check out the website, zwift.com/TOW ride to see the event schedule. There is one every single hour. Pick an event that works for you, or the companion app if you want to do it beautifully designed. Remember to look out for those special guests. We can look at who is jumping on over the coming 4 days. Now, Rhea, which one of these rides you think you're going to jump on?
Wow. How could you say no to a ride with Matt Stevens?
But that's tomorrow at 2 o'clock CET, which is 1 o'clock UK where we are. I think I can do that.
Oh, can you?
I'm excited. The problem is he's in the A's. I'm in the C's. So I'll just watch him disappear off up the road.
Right, we'll just hold his wheel, no problem.
Easy. Some great names there. Mitchelton Scott, who have done a few races already. Stephen de Jong, Matt Stevens, Ben, Tanya Erath, Pascal Enkenhorn. Great rides. Check them out. If you want to ride with any of the special guests, it's well worth doing. I keep saying we're going to race together, but it hasn't happened yet. Will we, do you think, before on stage 3?
Well, I am going to continue to say I'm a bit of an XP hog, so I'm going to go for the longest ride, the most amount of Ks. Because
even though you know that there's a big old climb there, which you could probably whip me on.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Indeed. Next time out, the elite men will be back to take on the jungle circuit. Jonathan Levi in the coveted yellow jersey we saw today. It puts a target on his back. He was so good last time that you will see him timing it. Dirt roads, diamond caves, Mayan temples. It's like the inside of my mind. Thank you, Rhea. It's been a joy as always.
Thank you, OJ. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Well done to Mary Wilkinson. We'll see you on the next show. Goodbye. Happy
Bye.
Zwifting.